What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? What's up, Twitch? It's Zero here. Today, guys, I'm bringing you a brand new episode of the Gears Cast. Welcome, everyone, to the Gears Cast, the best Gears of War podcast here on YouTube, on Twitch, wherever it is that you are watching the Gears Cast, guys. Super excited about this episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. So with that, guys and girls, I hope all of you are having a fantastic day, night, wherever it is that you're tuning in to the Gears Cast. I've got a lot of stuff that I want to share and talk about here in this episode of the Gears Cast, obviously coming off of what was a very, let's just put it, interesting week in the world of Gears of War, coming off of the Xbox Bethesda Games Showcase, not getting an announcement of Gear 6, of Gears of War's collection, not getting any of those things. So where does that leave us now as a community? Where does it leave us just as a franchise, right? And where does that leave, me personally in terms of creating content and things of that nature around Gears of War? Because for those of you who have been watching my YouTube channel and such, I have dedicated my YouTube channel moving forward to Gears of War and brought back Major Militia, my content and esports organization, bringing back that team with a focal point and, a mindset of trying to create content around Gears of War primarily, and we'll be getting into other games and things of that nature as well. But where does that leave us, guys? A lot of things that happened, obviously, at none other than the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase. So I want to go ahead and talk about this first and foremost. A couple of things. So at the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase, they showcased a number of different games, obviously. Lots talking about the next 12 months in the world of Xbox, what to expect. And they've got a lot of things that they're really lining up, which is really exciting for, those fans of those specific games that they announced. Even the new games coming out, there's a lot of buzz and such around games like Starfield. And so there was a real focal point on games of that nature. But where does that leave us as a community? Because obviously we know that Gears of War is in a pretty tough spot, at least at this very juncture in time, because obviously support for Gears 5 has stopped. One thing I will say is, when we talk about like the Gears esports scene, that is something that obviously is going to be shut down here as well. And so it leaves us into, somewhat of the unknown, in an abyss almost of unknowns, essentially surrounding our beloved and favorite franchise. But that being said, I want to go over some stuff that is really, really important to put things somewhat into context. I think it's really, really important that when we start talking about other franchises out there that are, obviously wanting and yearning for continuations and things of that nature, and maybe waiting for announcements, there's a lot of games outside of Gears of War that did not get announcements at the Xbox Bethesda Game Showcase. Let's talk about what didn't get announced outside of Gear 6, outside of the Gears of War collection. So this is a tweet, guys, coming to us from Kickback Relax. He tweeted saying, no Fable, no Banjo-Kazooie, no Elder Scrolls 6, no Gears, no Halo, no Killer Instinct, no Everwild, no Perfect Dark, no Conquer, no State of Decay 3, no Hellblade 2, no Viva Pinata, no Crackdown, Wolfenstein 3, Indiana Jones, Avowed. The list goes on and on. And what I'm getting at here, guys, is we're not the only fan base that is upset that we didn't get an announcement of anything around the Gears of War franchise. When we start taking a step back, and you kind of look back now at what Xbox has accomplished at this point in time and at this current juncture in time, it's very interesting because Xbox has been acquiring more and more companies, and they're building a portfolio to really take over gaming in a pretty major way. I mean, when we start thinking about it, Xbox started Xbox Game Pass. Obviously, I look at Xbox Game Pass as the Netflix of gaming. It is the best subscription service in gaming, and it's not even close at this point in time. And so they're acquiring a lot of companies to really build up Xbox Game Pass and create a lot of exclusive content that we're able to take in. Well, with that comes some growing pains because Xbox Game Showcase is only going to be able to show off so much, and so they want to make sure that they have a spotlight on certain games, and then other games, that they would kind of steal the shine away. They're probably going to wait until future Xbox Game Showcase. For example, this Xbox Game Showcase was really all about Starfield. I mean, the hype was building around it. They wanted to show off Starfield and all that it encompassed and such. And so there was a huge emphasis on Starfield at this Xbox Game Showcase. Games like Fable, Elder Scrolls 6, State of Decay 3, Wolfenstein, Avowed, all those games may have stolen a little shine from Starfield. And so, if you're a Fable fan, you've been waiting for a while for some continuations, for some, updates regarding the upcoming Fable title, because you got that announcement, right? The same thing goes with Elder Scrolls 6, been waiting and waiting and waiting, right? Halo, obviously there was Halo Infinite. Obviously, a lot of people, we're going to talk in here shortly on the show about Halo and some of the issues going on behind the scenes there. But I don't think Halo had to be announced. Anything needed to be announced necessarily, maybe outside of like a BR or something of that nature. Everwild, nothing there. Perfect Dark, obviously the fan base is really excited for the Perfect Dark reboot. Didn't get anything there. State of Decay 3 is a huge one for me because obviously we got the first initial announcement, and I really felt from that initial announcement of State of Decay 3 that it was Xbox's take on The Last of Us. They wanted to compete against The Last of Us with this upcoming State of Decay title, and we've been waiting for a while to hear more information about that. So just to put, what I'm doing here, guys, is I want to kind of put some context around. Obviously, we didn't get an announcement around Gears of War, that being Gear 6 or the Gears of War collection, but I think it's very important to put into context that all of these titles, and the list can continue, these games that have already had announcements, they've been waiting years and years to hear more information about it. Elder Scrolls 6, obviously, I think that we're going to be hearing more about Elder Scrolls 6 probably after Starfield comes out. They want to focus on Starfield, that being Bethesda, and then they'll start talking about Elder Scrolls 6. So, guys, even though we didn't get any Gears, and it's an unfortunate ordeal because I really wanted some Gears content, believe me, I wanted to get an announcement. They may have thought to themselves, hey, this is going to take some shine away from Starfield, or this is going to take some shine away from other titles. And look at this list. There's so many games that that missed the cut as to getting involved or put into the Xbox Game Showcase. So I just wanted to put this out there because I think it's important that when we start talking, and I wanted to kind of lay the foundation of this Gears cast around the context that there's a lot of other fan bases that are just as upset, if not more upset, than we are for not getting an announcement around Gears 6 or the Gears of War collection. Some of these titles and these fan bases have been waiting a very long time for continuations, that being like Fable, that being like Elder Scrolls 6, obviously like State of Decay, Perfect Dark, even Hellblade, Wolfenstein. These are titles that the fan bases have been yearning for more content, and they have not gotten it up to this point in time. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts about this. What do you guys think about Gears of War not getting announced, Gears 6 or the Gears of War collection? But what do you think about these other fan bases, and what do you think they're thinking at this point, because they didn't get anything announced or anything necessarily, any further information about their current games as well? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and let's have a real conversation about it. Why do I think it's really important that we get better communication with the coalition is it's kind of twofold, but obviously we talk on the YouTube channel all the time that this is kind of like our last chance at making an impact when it comes to the Gears of War scene with the upcoming Gears of War title, that being Gears 6, Gears of War Collection, whatever we want to talk about. This, in my mind, is our last real chance at making this thing a sustainable ordeal. And I'm totally okay with the Coalition taking their time. I really am. Even though I've talked on the YouTube channel multiple times, but more recently stating that I was wrong about the Gears 6 and Gears of War Collection timeline. Maybe I may not be wrong about the Gears 6 timeline. I said, it's probably going to come out in 2024 or 2025. I will say this, though, that the Gears of War Collection, it does not seem, is going to be coming out here in 2022, which is obviously a very unfortunate thing, and it definitely bothers me that it's, not going to come out. But on the flip side of that, look, I get that, the Coalition seems to be working on some things behind the scenes, and I'm totally on board with this. I really am. I'm very much so on board with them taking their time. I really am, guys. Now, one of the things that, is important, also is that our communication with the Coalition, I think it needs to be better. I mean, I think the Coalition, obviously they're kind of working in a lot of secrecy. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that we don't really know what's going on exactly. But I don't necessarily think that it's like an awful thing that we don't know, what's going on, because I think there needs to be a level of excitement and a level of hype, even though I think the Coalition could do a better job at like telling us little things like, that they're still there, that they're still working on things. I think our communication with them needs to get better, because I think that we really hurt the relationship between the community and the Coalition with Gears 5, especially with the level of backlash, with the level of issues that were kind of brought up over the course of time. I think we need to be better as a community moving forward when it comes to the communication element of this thing with the Coalition. I want to go over this tweet that came out from Dana Sissons. He goes, I told y'all I told y'all years ago it wasn't happening. And this is interesting because, what he's referring to is he said years ago that the Gears of War Collection was not happening. And there was a guy, Paul Livo, who tweeted at him with a GIF, and it's, a rest in peace type of ordeal for the Gears community. And he tweeted out, which was interesting, he tweeted back, though, after this Paul had tweeted at him, he had responded saying, taking their time and doing it right. And that is huge, because I think Dana's certainly has got connections over there still, over at the Coalition. And I think what's important here is that he's saying that they're taking their time, they're doing this thing right. And I think that really speaks volumes, because as of late, it's felt like, whether we're talking from the Gears perspective, whether we're talking from the Coalition's perspective, or when we're talking like Halo, and what's going on over there with the 343 Industries, it feels like there's a lot of the same pains that the Halo community has had over the course of time, the Gears community is having at this point. And I think that what it comes down to is that you just got to take your time. I think you've got to take your time in regard to any title out there. A AAA title, you got to take your time. And if there's something along the way that isn't right or that isn't being done well, you've got to take your time. Because I think the Coalition, what's really important for them is this next game, like I said and alluded to earlier, this next game is like our last chance, in my personal opinion, to get Gears to a point where it can be sustainable over the long duration of time. if it doesn't go well, I'm very concerned about Gears of War moving forward. So I'm going to do my part and try to, whether it's creating content, streaming, things of that nature, to try to put, a level of content out there for everyone. But I think we as a community, there has to be more people creating content, more people streaming on Twitch. And all it takes, guys, is one person at a time, and it becomes infectious, as you're starting to see more and more content, as you're starting to see more and more people stream, it definitely helps the title. And so I think that even though we didn't get an announcement, I think the communication levels between us and the coalition have got to get better if we want to see this thing succeed over the long term. That's just what my thoughts are, but Dana saying that they're taking their time and doing it right really gets me excited, because I think that if we get, let's just say in 2023, an announcement of the Gears of War collection as well as Gears 6, and the Gears of War collection comes out later in 2023, and then in 2024 or 2025, you get Gears 6, it would make a lot of sense, because if you look at the trajectory of when we got, let's just say, for example, when, the Ultimate Edition comes out, you get Gears of War 4, and then Gears 5, came out like shortly out, a couple years after that. You think of Halo, you had the Halo Master Chief Collection, then Halo 5 came out the following year. So it makes sense for the Gears of War collection to come out like next year, and then 2024, 2025, you would get Gears 6. But I'm all for the Coalition taking their time. This gives us an opportunity to continue creating content around this game, excitement and buzz around this game before it even gets announced. And then when it does, guys, that's when we're going to be off to the races, and it's going to be all hands on deck to make sure that this thing is a sustainable title moving forward. But let me know what you guys think. Our levels of communication, and with Dana saying that the Coalition's taking their time and doing it right, what do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comment section down below, and let's have a real conversation about it. This next topic that I want to talk about is in regard to Gear 6 and why I believe this is a title that, even though we didn't get an announcement of it as of yet, it's absolutely, in my mind, going to be worth the wait. I made a video similar to this on the YouTube channel you guys can check out. All my Gears of War content will be over there, guys. But I think the question comes down to, with Gears 6, is what's next now? When can we expect an announcement of Gears 6 or even the Gears of War collection? I think that this is a very important question because, a lot of people are asking the question like, okay, so what's next now that we didn't get an announcement? And I think this is really important because Gear 6 and the Gears of War collection not being announced, even though I don't think it's the end of the world, I think that the Coalition missed out on a huge opportunity to make a massive splash for the Gears franchise and the Gears fan base as a whole. There were so many other games, as we talked about earlier, that didn't get announced either, and a lot of other fan bases that are probably just as mad, if not even more mad than we are. I will say that I think what's next for Gears 6 and the Gears of War collection is this. We have to wait until most likely 2023 now. I mentioned that I was wrong about the Gears of War collection timeline. I was thinking the Gears of War collection was going to come out here in 2022, and it was going to be that bridge title to Gears 6. But I think now it just moves the timeline slightly forward, where Gears of War's collection will get announced next year, if it's happening at all. I believe it's going to get announced next year, probably at the Xbox Game Showcase next year, or E3, if E3 comes back. It'll get announced next year with Gear 6, and I think there's going to be a pretty heavy emphasis on Gears of War next year, and I think that should be something I'm really, really excited about. So Gear 6 in the Gears of War collection, I believe, are going to get announced next year, that being in 2023, probably June 2023. The Gears of War collection will come out late in 2023. and will be the bridge title still, but it won't be as long, most likely, until Gear 6. Gear 6 will probably come out sometime in 2024 or 2025. That's kind of where I think we're at in terms of the timeline goes and what I think we can expect next moving forward. Now, there was some talk in the community that the Gears of War collection is not being worked on by the Coalition. I think that this is very interesting, and I gotta tell you, I have mixed feelings about it. So, the Gears of War collection, and this is coming out, this came out on the Xbox Era podcast, that who says that the Coalition is working on the Gears of War collection? Somebody else could potentially be working on it. And I think this is very, very interesting because if the Gears of War collection is being worked on by another company, part of me, I don't like that because I think the Coalition is specific to Gears of War, right? That's all that this studio is designed to work on is Gears. If you're outsourcing it to another company, that other company, whoever it is, probably has never worked on Gears before. Unless it's like maybe like People Can Fly or something of that nature, but they're working on Outriders. I can't see them working on it. But let's just say they outsource it to some other company, and that other company has no experience with Gears of War, and they're just designed. I mean, obviously, you would think it wouldn't be that hard just to essentially remaster the Gears of War, collection, that being Gears 1 to, Gears 1, 2, 3, and Judgment. You would think it wouldn't be that difficult. But something else that came out on the Xbox Era podcast was there was a lot of talk that the Gears of War collection wasn't just going to be just a slight remaster with like some updated graphics. It was going to be a lot more than that. And I thought that that was very interesting. And so that's why I feel that the Coalition should be the ones working on it. On the flip side of that, though, the Coalition not working on the Gears of War collection and being able to focus all of their resources on Gears 6 may actually be better for Gears 6 because all they're focused on is Gears 6. If this is, we're talking theoretically here. If they're focused totally on Gears 6 and you got another company working on the Gears of War collection, it could actually be a very good thing for Gears 6, even though the Gears of War collection may suffer slightly. It's very interesting. Because to me, I believe personally, the Gears of War collection is very important. But Gears 6 is more important. And here's why. Gears 6 is the future of Gears of War. The Gears of War collection is a piece that is going to help bridge the gap between Gears 5 to Gears 6. It's also going to help us kind of reminisce the past somewhat. And I think that's really important. But the Gears of War collection is not the future. The future lies with Gears 6. So I think it's very important that we don't, it doesn't become a mistake that the Coalition makes, having the Gears of War collection kind of take precedence over Gears 6. Gears 6, guys, is top priority in my personal opinion. So, it's an interesting question. If it were up to me, when I heard the idea of the Gears of War collection on the Xbox Era podcast potentially not being worked on by the Coalition, I didn't like it at first. The more I've thought about it, though, I like the idea of another company kind of taking it, because really, any company could take what was already made and kind of remaster it, maybe add a couple of things to it. I think it's very possible, and I don't think it would be that difficult, whereas the Coalition can focus solely on Gear 6. I'm starting to really like that concept if the Gears of War collection does exist. But what do you guys think? Do you think that the Gears of War collection as well as Gears 6 should be worked on by the Coalition? Or do you like the idea that the Coalition should just focus on Gears 6 and have the Gears of War collection outsourced to another company? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And for more Gears of War collection content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. 343 is obviously responsible for the incredible response that Halo Infinite got from the very beginning, and just got so many people excited about Halo again, and they were doing a great job with the HCS and the tournaments and all of those things. But as of late, they've really dropped the ball. Specifically, there being like 5 months between majors and like tournaments and things of that nature within the HCS, which is crazy to me, because I know that, these tournaments and such get planned out years in advance, but I feel that you got to continue striking while the iron's hot, and you have all these storylines, all these narratives around Halo, and it's very important that this, goes, to that next level for Halo. And I'm cheering for Halo because it's another Xbox title. And I'm going to bring this back around to Gears, guys, because obviously Gears of War has had issues along the journey as well. Many times throughout Gears' history, we've had issues. Most notably, the Gears of War launches are always so, like, Halo's Infinite's launch was absolutely amazing. Gears of War's launches have been very bad as of late. And so I feel like that's something that the Coalition really needs to learn from 343 Industries. But also, being another Xbox studio, 343 and the Coalition, I feel, really needs to look at what the 343 is doing right, wrong, and what they can do better moving forward, so that the Coalition, when Gears 6 comes out specifically, what's happening over at 343 right now does not happen. And this is kind of why I really liked the idea that the Coalition may not be working on the Gears of War collection. Like, that's getting outsourced and they're working specifically on Gear 6. I liked this. I kind of like this concept, because then all hands are on deck with Gear 6. They don't have their handprint on the Gears of War collection. They are totally focused on the future of Gears of War. And like I said, I really like that concept a lot more. Now, Halo, I think 343 is going to get it right? Because you got so many different teams that are involved in Halo, from the Halo Championship Series and such. Some big brands that are there, and I really want to get involved in Halo as well, in Halo esports with Major Militia eventually, for sure. But I just really want the Coalition to learn from the mistakes of what 343 is doing. I just think that there's so many problems that are happening behind the scenes, and I think that there's, partially they are being somewhat transparent. That being 343 Industries, they're saying, look, like, they're undermanned. They don't have enough people over there to work on this thing to get to right the ship in the right direction once again. Even though they had such a great launch, if it's not sustainable, if, people from 343 are being pulled away to work on other projects or moved into other development studios, it's really important that Halo has the potential to be one of the biggest first-person, shooters in the world, and it's an Xbox exclusive. Gears of War, on the flip side of that, has the potential to be one of the biggest third-person shooters in the world. And both of these, even though they're both Xbox exclusives, I think as long as they're supported, they're going to be able to withstand the test of time. But we're seeing with 343 Industries, I definitely don't want that to happen when Gear 6 comes out. When Gear 6 comes out, the Coalition needs to continue to be all hands on deck moving forward. Because if they are not, there is going to be problems for sure. And there's going to be issues, and it's going to be a bumpy ride no matter what, guys. It doesn't matter what AAA title it is. There's always issues along the way. But as long as you have the people there to, support the game and to be able to fix those issues as they come and respond to it in a timely manner, you should be fine. You'll be good to go. But we're noticing with Halo Infinite, they've got some issues, and it's going to hurt the esports scene. It's going to hurt the game overall. They were on such a record pace. But once again, we've seen, this has happened. It's not just Halo. It's happened with Gears. It's happened with tons of other titles. It just is unfortunate that these beloved franchises like Halo and Gears are having these types of issues. So that's why I've stated this. I'm okay with the Coalition taking their time to make the next Gears of War title. Take your time. Take as much time as you need to create the best product and have the things in place that need to be there in order for this to be sustainable. It's not just going to be on them, though. It's going to be on us as the community to continue pushing this thing forward. We have to be creating content around this game. We've got to be streaming the game. That's pro players. Especially pro players, but even just content creators, streamers need to be doing those things for Gear 6 to be a sustainable ordeal. We see that the esports scene is now, it's shutting down, at least for the foreseeable future with Gears of War, until probably Gear 6 or maybe the Gears of War collection is released. But I have huge hopes, but I have huge hopes for Halo as well. I want to see Halo succeed, because if it's succeeding, that means that Xbox is succeeding, which means that these games like Gears can get more resources and such to push that thing into the future. With that being said, guys, what do you guys think about it? What do you think about the problems that are happening over at Halo? What do you think the Coalition can do to make sure that they're learning from the mistakes, but also the things that the 343 Industries is doing well? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and let's have a real conversation about it. Let's get into this Jez Corden talk. I think this is very, very important because this is a guy who not only he stated that he didn't believe a Gears of War collection existed, but he's also said some other things in regard to the Coalition. So I want to talk about it. So Jez Corden is a very well-known person that has a multitude of connections on the Xbox side, outside of Xbox. But he came out and stated, after Xbox Era Podcast had stated that there was going to be a Master Chief collection type treatment that was going to be happening to another Xbox title or franchise. It was confirmed that it was going to be Gears of War. Now, Jez Corden said that that's not the case, that he doesn't think that the Gears of War collection even exists. On the flip side of that, I want to go over something that he brought up. Because obviously the Coalition was nowhere to be found at the Xbox Bethesda Game Showcase. But I think after listening to like Dana Sissons and obviously Jez Corden, I'm very excited because this gives us time to continue creating content around Gears 6, the Gears of War collection, the future of Gears, to kind of build some excitement, build some momentum, and for everybody else to be doing the same thing. And then once the Coalition announces something, it's going to be really, really exciting because we've been waiting for a while. But he tweeted out saying, "Not going to lie, the silence from the Coalition kind of makes me hyped. This studio has always delivered high-quality games for Xbox on relatively shorter timescales. This time we're seeing the Coalition really take its time. What are they cooking up there?" And this is pretty fascinating to me because what I'll tell you guys is the Coalition is definitely taking their time on something. Now, most likely, if the Gears of War collection is being outsourced to another developer, Coalition is all hands on deck on Gears 6 because they're hiring a lot still motion capture specialists, things of that nature, which you would be doing for a new title like Gears 6. You wouldn't be doing that for like the Gears of War collection. So they're ramping up for something, but they're taking their time with it. And it's very exciting to me as well, because I think they could be creating something very, very special, to say the least. And there's a lot of people, there's mixed emotions about this from a number of different people in the community, outside of the Gears community. A lot of people are talking and such. But this, I'm not going to lie, this gets me really excited too. The silence actually, even though I want us moving forward to have better communication with the Coalition, and I really am, it's upsetting to me that the Coalition had the program update for Gears Esports. They're shutting down Gears Esports, at least for the foreseeable future. That is such a signature part of Gears that it just really bothered me that they shut that down. They stopped supporting Gears 5. And that's probably the reason why they shut down Gears Esports, because obviously they're shutting down support for Gears 5. And so it makes sense, but I just feel like they should have continued supporting it. Now, maybe they wanted to just move all resources to the Gears Esports future with Gears 6 and Gears 6 as a whole. That's very, very possible. But I'm with Jez Gordon when he says that, now that they're taking their time on this next project or projects, it actually is quite exciting, because they may be cooking up something really special over at the Coalition. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like, what do you guys think? Do you think that the Coalition is, them taking their time? Do you think this is going to be really good for Gears 6? Do you think it's going to be bad? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Gears 6, more Gears of War collection content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. One of the things that was really awesome to me was Gears Esports. They brought out the Legacy Favorite Event. And I thought this was really cool. I think it was really cool that Gears Esports brought out this video to kind of give a kudos. They tweeted saying, Legacy Favorite Event. There's nothing like a Gears Esports event. The roaring crowd, the blinding lights, and the competitors' passion all come together to create a one-of-a-kind experience. What are the most memorable events in Gears Esports history? Now, I'm going to give you guys mine. My most memorable ordeal with Gears Esports was for sure E-League for Gears Esports. I thought E-League put on such a good show for Gears Esports, and I would have loved to see that continue into the future, but E-League was incredible. Number 2, I went to Columbus, Ohio for an event. This was for Gears of War 4, and watched Optic's dominance once again, up close and personal with Explosive Mental. I mean, just that team was absolutely on another level. Got to see the guys at Optic, got to see a number of teams there. That was a really special event. Columbus, Ohio always put on some really special events as well. And so those were like the two big things for me, was definitely E-League, but I think being there in person at the for the Gears Pro circuit, going to the Gears event over in Columbus, Ohio, I thought was absolutely awesome for Gears of War 4. I unfortunately didn't get to go to any of the Gears 5 events, but I will promise you this. I'm going to be going to a lot of Gears 6 Gears Esports events, because I'm going to say it right here, right now, that Gears Esports is going to continue with Gears 6. And I'm going to do all that I can. I'm going to put all of my resource and everything that I've got into having a team in Gears Esports for Gears 6 with Major Militia. I'm going to do whatever it takes for Gears Esports to be a sustainable thing moving forward when we get to Gears 6. Once that happens and it comes back, because I believe it's going to come back, we as a community, guys, are going to have to blow this thing up. We got to blow up Gears as a whole, But Gears Esports, we got to make that a sustainable ordeal. There is nothing like Gears of War esports anywhere in the world. Like when we talk about any other esport, there's nothing like it. The trash talk, the crowds, just everything, the passion behind Gears of War, there is nothing like it out there in any other esport. It's very, very special. It's like the WWE of esports, in my opinion. That's what I look at Gears Esports like. It's like the WWE, the trash talk, all of those different things. Whatever it takes for us to grow that is what we've got to do, guys. We have to do it because it's my favorite game of all time. So whatever it takes for us to do that is going to be very, very important moving forward. But I thought that this was really neat, kind of reminiscing of the past, but it's time to really look forward to the future, guys. We can look at the past all we want. And that's why I'm more excited about Gears 6 than I am about the Gears of War collection, because I love reminiscing about the past, but we got to look to what's the future. We got to look at that, and we got to set new standards, break new barriers and such. And so that's what we need to do moving forward with Gears Esports and Gears of War as a whole. But what was your favorite moment, guys, from Gears Esports? What was your favorite moment? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Gears Esports content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. I want to talk about Delta Online. And this is really interesting. I was pretty fascinated by this when I started hearing about it. Shadows, obviously Shadows, guys, content creator in the Gears scene. He shared a tweet that came out talking about this Delta Online, this A New Hope. And I started doing a little bit of some research into it, and wow, was I ever fascinated by this. So Terry HB, he tweeted out about Delta Online. And this is pretty interesting, guys. So Delta Online is a Gears of War 3 PC experience. Optional refined tuning, no loadout actives, less stopping power, new game modes like Squad TDM, full KB plus M support with rebinds, unlocked FPS, lobby browser, leveling plus medal system. It's currently in private testing. And I will tell you this, is that it seems like Shadows is trying to get a copy, trying to get in on this. I definitely want to get in on this as well. So this is really fascinating, guys, because, it's interesting. A New Hope, as well as Delta Online, seem to be these two really awesome options for kind of a bridge to getting us to Gear 6, to the Gears of War collection, because obviously those didn't get announced this year at the Xbox Bethesda Game Showcase. So we've got the rest of this year and probably into next year, that being 2023, until we get an announcement about Gear 6, the Gears of War collection. And so this is really, really fascinating to me. I love that the community's coming together to do things like this. Obviously, we're almost ready to launch the Milestone 1 preview of Delta Online for wider scale testing, and we're excited for you to try out what we've been working on for the past year. Delta Online is a work in progress project which brings Gears of War 3 to the PC with support for online multiplayer across the included Horde, Beast, and various versus game types. Milestone 1 consists of the first iteration of our core feature set being implemented and in state ready for wide-scale testing. We need your help to find bugs, provide feedback, and make Delta Online a better experience. I love this. And I'm going to tell you guys something right now. I'm going to be creating content around this for sure on my YouTube channel. You guys can check out all my Gears of War content. We're going to be talking about Gear 6. We're going to be talking about Gears of War Collection consistently on the YouTube channel. But I'm going to be adding this also into the things that we're going to be talking about, because this is something pretty special. This is going to be a great bridge for us as a community to go from, where we sit right now to whatever the future Gears is, whenever that announcement happens, to the wait time until we get to that point. Delta Online is going to be absolutely huge for that, guys. without question. And Gears of War 3 is my favorite Gears title of all time. At this point in time, it is my absolute favorite Gears title. And so I am incredibly excited about it. It looks great. I think it's going to be something very, very special. Torque bow tag. I mean, this is going to be really cool, guys. I truly believe it's going to be something special. They're also featuring some new QOL features seen in Gears 4, which is awesome. It's incredibly exciting to me, guys. I cannot wait to get my hands on this. Introducing Squad Deathmatch. 4 squads of 2 battle it out to be the first squad to reach the kill goal. Squad Deathmatch is a new mode coming to Delta Online that is based on the Wingman game type. The objective is simple. The first squad to reach the kill goal wins the match. 1 round, unlimited respawns, first to 30 kills wins. Squad Deathmatch will be initially introduced as a limited time mode during its beta phase while we gather feedback during testing. There will be more information available soon. So, look, guys, I am incredibly excited about this. I think it's going to be something like I said, it's going to be a bridge. What we thought Gears of War Collection to Gears 6 was going to be the bridge. Well, this is going to be the bridge from where we sit right now to a Gears of War Collection announcement or Gears 6, and then maybe even onwards from that. So definitely, guys, check out Terry HB. Without question, this guy, I think that we need more and more people like this to get involved in creating a lot of excitement around Gears of War and such, to create content and things of that nature. So I'm going to be doing my part when it comes to creating content around this. If you don't create content, you don't stream, guys, it's going to be very important that you support your favorite content creators, you support your favorite streamers, and you play these games. You play Delta Online, you play Gears 5. We have to show that this is something that's very important to us. And so I think that these are things that are easy to do, easy not to do, but I'm really excited to see where this goes. And so big shout out to Terry HB. I know Shadows is trying to get involved. I want to get involved without question. I'm definitely making that public right here, right now, guys. I want to get involved in that. What do you guys think, though, about Delta Online and A New Hope? What do you guys think about this? This is really exciting stuff, guys. Kind of reminds me of some of the things that are going on in the Call of Duty scene. Call of Duty's got what they've got called Plutonium. It kind of was these different mods that they brought out regarding the trick shotting and sniping community for Call of Duty. And they wanted to make like their own servers essentially and mods and such. And so Call of Duty did that. And it's been very successful. People love getting on Plutonium. They're consistently updating it and things of that nature. This kind of reminds me of that, just in a different way, but in the Gears of War community. I absolutely love it. So definitely check it out, guys, if you have not already. And I'm very, very excited about it. Let me know what you guys think about Delta Online in the comment section down below. And for more Delta Online content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. I want to say thank you so much, guys, as always, for all the support you guys have been giving me, all the new subscribers, all the new followers. You guys are awesome. You guys can check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at @0_TV. I am creating content consistently on YouTube. We are very active on my social media networks. Obviously, guys, if you guys have not already followed me on Twitch, definitely, if you want to get notified every single time a new stream goes up, definitely go ahead and follow. Subscribe if you guys are new. Stay positive. Just keep grinding. And as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.